because I looked back on my goals and all of them were about work. And I was like, damn, bitch, you don't care about nothing else? Just work? So today I just want to talk about how my year went, the fact that I didn't accomplish anything that I set out to accomplish, kind of how I feel about it, and how I plan on growing next year. So if you want to hear about those things, then keep watching this little video. So, if you are new here, then last year, at the end of 2020 was when I first started doing influencing full time. So 2021 was really my first full year of doing this job full time. And at the end of last year, I decided to set all these goals for myself. I was like, oh yeah, by the end of next year, I want to be making this amount of money. I want to have this amount of followers. I don't want to do all of these things. And I've always been a very goal-oriented, driven person. But I did not realize that as an entrepreneur, that can manifest itself in very, very toxic ways. And I just didn't account for that because this is my first time doing this job. This is my first time being an entrepreneur. I just didn't account for how toxic my goal-driven mindset could be in this industry. So early in the year, shortly after I had set these goals in December of 2020, I was grinding super hard, pumping out content every day, just going really hard, trying to achieve these goals I had set out for myself. And it was working. My page was growing really quickly. Everything was going super well until suddenly I burnt out. And it felt like I have to take a break or I'm going to lose it. It was just very suddenly, I felt like I couldn't work at all because I literally, for I think the first 3 months of 2021, I didn't take a single break. So then I finally decided to take a break because it really felt like I had no other choice. But it really wasn't a healthy break. If I went on social media, I would see other people posting, other people, being consistent, just achieving what they want to achieve. And it just made me feel bad. I was like, oh my God, if I don't sit down and start working, then, it's going to really hurt my engagement. Or just seeing everybody else do what they need to do and me not doing it was just toxic. So I was like, you know what? Let me just get off of social media. I'm going to get off of social media so that I can actually feel like this break is a break. Because if you take a break and you're only thinking about work, it's not really a break. So I was like, okay, let me just get off of social media. And then, a few days just focusing on me, I would feel great. And then, what was supposed to be a few days of a break turned into a week. And then it turned into 2 weeks because something in me was like, I really don't want to get back to that place of feeling burnt out. But I just hadn't come up with healthy ways of doing my work where I wouldn't get to that place. And this happened multiple times throughout the year. I was stuck in this awful toxic cycle of being overly productive and then being underproductive. Because when you work for yourself, there's nobody to tell you, hey, take a break. Hey, it's time for you to go on vacation. Hey, this, that. It's you telling yourself what you need to do, you working for yourself. And so the perfectionist in me will not stop working until every piece of content that I make is perfect. And then the creative in me comes up with a new idea every day. So then the next day I have to sit down and do another idea and do it until it's perfect. And so I would just keep going and going and going until I burnt out. And so mentally this year, besides living through a pandemic and besides, starting my adult life in a new city where I don't know anybody and feeling extremely lonely, I was just exhausted. I was tired. I was exhausted. And a lot of days this year, I couldn't bring myself to do anything but sit on the couch because I was exhausted. I was burnt out and I just couldn't do it anymore. So getting towards the end of the year, I was starting to get disappointed in myself because I was like, damn, you really set out all of these goals for yourself. And I actually wrote them down and I looked back on them recently. I was like, wow, you set out all of these goals for yourself and you didn't accomplish not a one. Not a one. And you know what? I don't give a fuck. There was a moment when I looked back on those goals and I was like, feeling really down bad. But I've had so much growth personally throughout the year that I kind of recognize the goals that I set with myself just didn't align with who I actually am. And like, I'm still learning myself in this industry, still learning how I operate, what works for me, what doesn't work for me. And my goals last year that I set for this year were entirely numbers and analytics oriented. And if I have learned anything, it's that that is a very unhealthy standard to attach yourself to. There are so many factors that are completely out of your control that can affect the analytics of whatever it is that you do. I mean, you could get sick. You could have a death in the family. You could just be tired and need a break. And that will affect how much money you make. It will affect, well, in my industry, your engagement. And literally this entire year, I was ignoring my mental health, ignoring whatever happened to me in my personal life so that I could achieve numbers. So next year, one of my main goals is to take at least 2 days off a week, no matter what, at least. And I'm going to physically put it in my planner because I've realized, like, just the type of person that I am, if I don't put it in my schedule, if I don't plan it out, I just won't take the time off. And then I'm going to be forced to take the time off down the line when I'm spiraling out of control and feeling burnt out. And I mean, of course, I want to make a buttload of money. Of course, I want my platform to grow, but I'm shifting my mindset this year from what my mindset was last year. And I refuse to attribute my success or tether my happiness to numbers and analytics, especially if it's going to come at the expense of my mental health. I also feel like making my goals this year more bite-sized and not making them all associated with work is going to be a lot more healthy, because I looked back on my goals and all of them were about work. And I was like, damn, bitch, you don't care about nothing else? Just work? I mean, this year, like, I want to do better at keeping in touch with my friends. I want to get better at tennis. I want to try new things. I want to stop being a perfectionist. I want to call my mom more. Like, I want to do more than keep thinking that my happiness is associated with how good I am at my job. Because you know what? Sometimes I'm not going to be fucking good at my job, okay? And I know that probably sounds kind of stupid because I work for myself, but there were plenty of times this year where I felt like I wasn't operating at the best level that I could in my work. And I created a very toxic work environment for myself. And I am the only employee at my job. So this year we will not tether our happiness to work, okay? There is more to life than how productive you are. I feel like I've been shitting on myself this entire video, and this video is not to say that I didn't accomplish anything this year. I definitely accomplished a lot, things that I never thought I would or wouldn't have even imagined that I would. They just weren't the goals that I set for myself. And so I feel like I didn't give myself my flowers for them, which is another thing that I want to work on, is just like celebrating my accomplishments. Like, damn, like you really did that. Like, acknowledge it. You did that. And I don't do that. And we got to improve that. All right, I finished my makeup, so I think I'm going to end this video here. But I just want to get on here and talk about this because I know this is that time of year where people are bragging on themselves for what they accomplished and, you know, setting new goals for the next year. And I didn't accomplish any of my goals, and that's fine. And it's okay if you're in the same boat as me. I think sometimes it's just a matter of like reevaluating how you set your goals and trying to set goals that are true to who you are. Because at the end of the day, like, your goals should uplift you and push you to be a better version of yourself, not make you feel bad and put yourself down. But all that to say, I hope I gave you some words of encouragement going into 2022. And I hope that your new year is filled with lots of joy and happiness and everything that your heart desires. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Happy New Year!